Let me tell you guys about the worst roommate I ever had. I had this roommate who was very abusive towards me. She would constantly tell me how ugly I am. She would tell me that my friends didn't really like me. She would always say that I was so behind in life compared to my other friends and how I wouldn't amount to anything. Now, you might be thinking, oh my god, like, did you tell her off? Did you move out? Did you fight her? Oh, shoot, I would have fought her. Well, what's crazy is you clicked on this video, which means you have this roommate too. We all have this roommate. We all have a roommate in our minds right now. Your roommate is your thoughts, telling you all of these negative things. This roommate is keeping you from going after your passions and building relationships with people around you. This roommate is literally ruining your ability to live. This roommate is the silent enemy. It prevents you from living in the present moment, and it blurs the lines between what is real and in your face from what is just your thoughts and imagination. And if you allow this roommate to talk to you enough, you will basically drive yourself so crazy because it will start to control you. You literally become a slave to this roommate to the point that you won't even see the life you are actually living in this present moment because you are always looking for the worst case scenario in the future or living in the past, which means your actual life is just passing you by every time you allow this roommate to talk to you and occupy space in your mind. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so is this roommate a part of me? Am I stuck with her now? Can I not give her an eviction notice? Can I charge them rent? Sorry, babe, but no. This roommate is occupying space in your mind, and you didn't even sign a lease agreement with them. You can't get rid of this roommate because this roommate is your ego. You are talking to your ego. Now, what does this roommate want? What does your ego want? It wants acceptance and validation. And if it gets acceptance and validation, it will be happy. You know, it'll be energized and it'll feel validated. But what causes your ego to be unhappy? Rejection and disagreements. This roommate will be sad and depressed and won't do anything around the apartment if it gets rejected and there are disagreements. Sounds like the worst roommate ever. You don't know what kind of mood you're gonna get from her. Well, this roommate, this ego is trying to protect you from something. It wants to keep you safe. And a lot of times your ego doesn't even know what to protect you from. It tries to break up relationships that weren't even bad in the first place. It keeps you from going after certain things out of fear of being rejected or judged, and it stops you from progressing. But here is the crazy part. We are not our egos. Ego does not exist. You exist. You are just watching your ego, watching this roommate take up space in your mind, watching this ego use fear against you. So what needs to happen is you need to stop seeing this roommate as a part of you. Stop seeing these thoughts as a part of you. This roommate is separate from you. So you need to have high self-awareness for yourself so that way you can step in between this roommate and the life that was meant for you. So how do you draw the line between your roommate and you? The first thing you need to do is make peace with yourself. Here are 5 magic words that will help you to stop overthinking. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. It's your roommate's. Your roommate is scared. You are not. Your roommate has a fear of rejection. You do not. Your roommate needs external validation. You do not. This voice in your mind is not yours. You are just the one who hears it. The voice in your mind is just the result of your past trauma, history, and the things you inherited from your parents. Whenever I found myself running off into negative thought, my mind going 100 miles per hour on how inadequate I am and how there was someone out there who was better than me, oftentimes these thoughts just come out of nowhere. I mean, I could literally be doing my makeup and all of a sudden my mind is like, your makeup looks terrible. The girls on YouTube do a much better job than you do. Can you do anything right? And I'm just like, whoa. Where did that even come from? I was fine, but then my mind just went left field. But when that happens, I sit back and I think, those thoughts weren't mine. Those thoughts and emotions just come and go. So what I do is I detach myself. But I don't detach myself from just ignoring the thoughts that come to me or just pushing them away. Because the more you try to push away your negative thoughts, the more negative thoughts happen. So don't push them away, but don't bring them closer either. Just observe your thoughts. Feel them. Witness them as if you were just listening to a friend talk. Let the thoughts come if they want to and let them go if they want to. Focus on the presence and become the observer of your roommate. Observe your roommate. Observe the thoughts, observe the emotions, and feel the emotions in your body. Once you observe your thoughts and feel your emotions, it then loses power over you and it will go away on its own. And we'll talk more about how to determine what emotions you're feeling in your body. If you have struggles being in the present moment, then I suggest doing some type of meditation just to help ground you. And when you do meditate, only focus on your breathing. Because if you are prone to overthinking a lot, you might also struggle with staying focused during meditation and your mind just, wants to talk. So just focus focus on your breathing or the way that your body feels or the environment around you. Once you are in the present moment, then you are going to look back and watch your roommate or your mind racing. And you are going to say to your roommate, I appreciate your input, I understand your concern, but I am fine right now. Let's say you're studying for an exam and your roommate, your thoughts are like, oh my God, I'm gonna fail this exam, I'm gonna flunk out of school, like what do I do? I'm going to be a disappointment to my parents. You can say, I understand you are concerned, but we are studying really hard right now and we will do the best we can. And if we fail, it is what it is. And that's it. This is how you give validation to yourself. This is how you make your roommate feel safe. And some people cannot control their minds when they are overthinking, but you can either decide to validate and accept those negative thoughts and take action on those negative thoughts, or merely just observe them as if they are separate from you. Your roommate is there to protect you, but let it know there is nothing there to protect you from, because your roommate's fear is based on the future. What is fear? F-E-A-R. It's an abbreviation for false evidence appears real. Fear is not real. It's an illusion. It's something that your roommate has made up in your mind that does not and probably never will exist. So if you are present, fear and worry does not exist unless you are immediately in danger, like a bear is running towards you in the woods. Is there a bear in your room right now? A burglar trying to break into your home? No, there isn't. And I mean, if there is, I probably wouldn't be watching this video right now if I were you. So there's really nothing for you to be scared of. There is nothing that you should be fearing right now. So be in the present moment and find peace with that our thoughts are not our own. Next is challenge your thoughts. What you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of paper and divide it into 3 columns. In the first column, you are going to write down what it is that you are worried about. All the what ifs, what if I don't graduate and never get a job? What if the guy doesn't like me and I end up alone for the rest of my life? What if I, disappoint my parents and they kick me out of the house? All of the what ifs that you have. In the second column, write down how likely you think this scenario is to take place or come true on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being very unlikely to happen and 10 being very likely to happen. And when you are doing this, make sure to look at what is true and factual, not based on your emotions of the situation. And the third column, write down what actions you would take if the worst case scenario did happen. For example, if you were worried that you were feeling stuck in life and that you were behind your peers, write down things that you can start doing in your daily life that will get you to where you want to be, like creating routines, updating your resume, looking for ways to broaden your skills and network, all of that. By challenging your limiting beliefs, you are able to get a better understanding of yourself, improve decision making, achieve your goals, and have a backup plan for emergencies and have emotional freedom. Life is unpredictable and it's never 100% risk-free. But by doing this exercise, you can at least have a backup plan in case whatever it is that you were worrying about comes true, which will give you a feeling of safety and security. Next is understand the difference between overthinking and intuition. People who overthink are often obsessing over fear of making a mistake or fear of rejection to the point where they don't get anywhere in life because they are just ruminating on the future or past, versus intuition is the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. It's a gut feeling that you get when something is either right or wrong. If something is right or wrong, you will know it. You won't question it, you won't analyze all of the details, you won't be obsessing over it all night, you will know. And you won't be looking for reasons to try to justify it and staying up all night thinking about it. Overthinking feeds your anxiety, whereas intuition does not. If it's right, you will know. So there are no benefits to overthinking because it's caused by perfectionism, indecision, anxiety, and rejection. Next is the problem is never the problem. The problems that you are so worried about is often never really the problem that you think it is. So for example, the guy you like, he isn't texting you back fast enough. He is probably just taking a nap. He is busy. He might be at work. That doesn't mean he doesn't like you. Has he shown signs of him not liking you? Has he texted you in the past? Has he given you any other signs of not wanting to be with you? No, he hasn't. This is just your ego speaking. This is your roommate's fear of rejection, fear of being alone, fear of being judged or misunderstood. So is the problem the guy not texting you back, or is it that you have an insecure attachment style that you have not addressed yet? Instead of saying, what if he leaves me? You should say, what is this insecurity trying to communicate? And what needs do I have that are not being met? And how can I meet those needs on my own? Your boss wants to talk to you and your mind starts going 100 miles per hour about how you're in trouble and maybe you're not doing a great job. Well, maybe they want to call you in because you are doing a great job and they want to give you a promotion. That doesn't necessarily mean you're in trouble. Did you often get in trouble with your parents for something that you made a mistake on and there were severe consequences for it, which is why you fear your boss or someone else in power? Then the problem really isn't your boss. It means you have unresolved childhood trauma that you have not addressed yet, which is why you have a fear of people in power. You overthink when going to public places, and when you do, you just hide in a corner and you're quiet because you don't want to draw a lot of attention to yourself. The issue isn't wasn't being judged by others. It was because you were probably taught by an authority figure to just be obedient, smile, and don't stand out. You are hiding your trauma behind shyness, good behavior, and people pleasing because you are terrified to have a personality. I can go on and on. The problem is rarely the problem you think it is. 99% of the harm is caused in your head. 1% is actually based on reality. So what you are going to do is question these negative thoughts that are going through your mind and figure out the root cause of the problem and look at the facts. Here are some questions you can ask yourself when those negative thoughts do arise. What would I like instead? Is this true, or is it just based on my fear of rejection, judgment, failure, or being misunderstood? How would I feel if it wasn't true? What am I really scared of? What is the deeper problem? Another tip for overthinking is to use a mantra. So let me show you and you can follow along if you'd like. You are going to cross your hands across your chest, okay? And you will tap your chest left and right. Imagine the problem that you are dealing with right now. Imagine what you are going through right now. All of the what ifs. And I want you to repeat the words. I can handle it. I can handle it. I can handle it. You will repeat 5 rounds of 10-second tapping. When I do this, I can slowly just feel the anxiety just moving away from my body. You can also say, I am loved, I can do hard things, I am strong, whichever best fits the situation that you are in. Next is stop manifesting your fears. The root cause of your roommate's overthinking is just anxiety, stress, self-doubt, and low self-esteem. Anxiety is just a natural response to fear, and fear is the reason your roommate overthinks. And now you're sending that negative energy into the world. And what happens when you send negative energy out into the world? Negativity comes right back at you. You are manifesting all of these negative things in your life that were not meant for you. Let me tell you how my fear of flying almost caused me to die, or at least that's what I thought. I used to have a big fear that I would die in a plane crash. Anytime I got on a plane, I was like, this is it. I'm gonna die. This is how it all ends. And I would literally look at all the passengers and be like, these look like the types of passengers that you would see on the news with the title, Flight 321 has crashed into the Pacific Ocean. That's literally how I used to think when I would get on an airplane. And there was one day, my husband and I got on a plane to California, and the weather was really bad, and there was severe turbulence, like severe turbulence. It was very rare. About midway into the flight, the plane started dropping. Bags flying everywhere, the plane's flying everywhere, the plane's dropping down a few thousand feet, and I look at the flight attendants and I just see fear on their eyes. Flight attendants are not supposed to be scared, okay? They're not supposed to show fear. They were scared. And I told myself, Devin, you manifested this. Now it's happening. And as the plane was dropping, I closed my eyes and I prayed. I said, Jesus, I know you will not have me go out like this. I am so sorry for doubting you. A few minutes later, the pilot got back control of the plane and all was good. After that, I told myself, anytime I get these negative thoughts when I have to fly, I will meditate, pray to God, and envision myself safely at my destination. Now, you might be thinking, Devin, your negative thoughts did not cause the plane to crash. Like, come on now. You might be right, but in that moment in time, I wasn't thinking, oh, it's just really bad turbulence. I was thinking, I doubted God's ability to get me safely to my destination because I had this need to be in control of everything. It's all about the law of attraction. If you manifest negative things, negative energy will come to you. If you manifest positive things, good energy will come to you. You are manifesting your fear into reality. God will protect you if you allow him to protect you. The universe will protect you if you allow it to protect you. Next is, people's opinions of you are none of your business. Whether their opinions are good or bad has nothing to do with you because your opinion of yourself is all that matters. If someone gives me a compliment, I say thank you, but I don't allow that compliment to boast me up. I don't allow it to get into my head because what happens is I get addicted to other people complimenting me. We always talk about those who never got validation as a child, which is why they seek external validation. But we never talk about the girls who did get a lot of validation because there is such thing as getting too much validation from other people to the point where you rely on that compliment to feel seen. Well, when I was younger, I had a they are just jealous of you type of mom. And she would constantly give me validation, tell me how smart I am, tell me how pretty I am. Well, when I got out into the real world, nobody was boasting me up as much as she was. Nobody was telling me how great I was and giving me that participation trophy. So I started to feel bad about myself because I wasn't getting the love and validation that I once had from my mom. So I had to learn to not only keep insults from affecting me, but I also had to stop allowing praise to affect me as well. I had to learn how to give that love and validation to myself even when nobody else did. I know I'm good looking. I know that I'm pretty. I know I still look good whether my hair is done, whether my makeup is done or not. So whether or not I got a compliment doesn't matter because I already know it within myself. Same goes for insults. If someone tries to throw a dig at me or tries to make me look stupid. I don't care because I took the time to heal myself and I don't allow the negative opinions of others to drag me down. I used to not be this way. Anytime someone said something negative to me or about me, it would literally just ruin my day. I would sit in my room and be like, dang, they're right. Damn, I am naive and dumb. But I spent a lot of time with myself, just in my room, in silence, talking to myself, journaling, doing mental health checks on myself. I built a strong wall around myself, so if anyone wants to throw sticks and stones at me, they can't reach me. I'm already secure in myself. So anyone else's opinions of you, whether it's good or bad, is none of your business. The only opinions that matters is yours. Never allow yourself to be defined by someone else's opinions of you. Avoid self-rejection and self-sabotage. You are rejecting yourself before anyone else has a chance to. Do you think you are qualified for the job? Apply for it anyways. You don't think that people in your group like you? Talk to them anyways. Stop overthinking yourself into self-rejection. People will reject you if they sense that you reject yourself. People will overlook you if you overlook yourself. People will have confidence in you if you have confidence in yourself. You are in control. Do you know how many stupid people we have on this earth right now who don't know what the heck they are doing? It could be your boss, your parents, your friends, walking around not knowing what the heck they are doing. But everyone just flocks to them for the answers. Everyone flocks to them for advice. It's because they are confident. It's because they believed that they could, so they did. This world, none of it is real. Everything is made up. Your job, social media, the government, everything. We are all walking through life, doing the best we can, giving the best advice we have, going through all of life's challenges. Nobody knows what they are doing. We're all walking down the same road to God knows where, and the confident people are the ones in the front saying, this is the way, let's turn here. And they don't know where that road leads to. They don't know where the heck they are going, but you wouldn't know that because they are just that confident. Some people are just really good at faking it. Even Rihanna pretends. Freaking Rihanna.
What do you do on those days that you don't feel that confident or fearless or powerful like you did out there?
Pretend.
You see, when you are rejecting yourself, you are assuming that others will reject you before it really happens. That's really bold of you to assume that you know how people will react to you. Pretty arrogant if you ask me. The best psychologists can have the best theories of why someone is the way they are, but they will never know the real reason. The best doctors might not even know what illness you have. The best CEOs don't even know where their company is going to be in 10 years. But you just know that people are going to reject you. You don't know. Even if someone did believe me or approve of me, I would try to find a reason as to why they were wrong. Like, oh yeah, they think I'm smart, wait until they find out I flunked my math test in 10th grade. So when people did give me that love and affection, in my head, I tried to figure out why they were wrong in their assumptions of me. So it's not about having all the answers. It's not about being the prettiest person in the room. It's not about being skinny or thick. It's not about being the smartest or wisest. It's scary because it's unfamiliar, not because you're incapable. It's about recognizing the skills you have and the experiences you've lived through and saying, hey, you know what? I might not get this job. I might get rejected from my crush. I might be the most hated person in the world if I do this or say this. I might not have all the answers. But hey, this is the one life that I was given, and I'm gonna do it anyways. Because a lot of you people out here don't even know what you're doing either. So move over. The most important question. When you start criticizing yourself and putting yourself down for mistakes or feeling like you are behind in life, ask yourself, is there anything I can do about the past or positively influence the future? If the answer is yes, then do it. Take action. If the answer is no, let it go. Anything else is just a waste of your time and energy. You overthinking is not going to have any effect on the future or the past. You worrying about whether you get the job isn't going to change the fact that you did or didn't because the interview is over. Don't think about what you said and how you could have said it in a better way. It's already been said. Whatever you said or did was meant to happen. All you have is right now. Let go of yesterday and make peace with today. No amount of planning, overanalyzing, or stressing will give you control over what you already can't control. Next is the power of now. You have exactly enough energy for now. The only thing that is promised in life is now. Tomorrow is not promised, so focus on now. I never realized that I wasn't even living in the present moment throughout my entire life until one day I read the book, The Power of Now. And I realized that I had always been either living in the past or living for tomorrow. When I finally grounded myself and decided to be in the now, I got scared because it was different. It was different for me. Because at that moment, it was just me and the world, and I felt empty. I didn't feel anything, which is crazy because I had always dealt with anxiety all of my life. It was like I had been looking at the world through an old lens, the old me. And then once I became present, all I felt was myself. I was at peace. I felt human. I was no longer connected to this roommate, and I was connected to my body, my soul. And that was a very peaceful place to be in because I was no longer concerned about what the future had in store, because that is not promised. I was no longer focused on the past because I can't change what happened. So how do you put the power of now into practice? When you wake up in the morning and you're walking around, take the time to stop and feel the ground beneath you. When you are washing your hands, pay attention to all the sensations that you are feeling. Pay attention to the water hitting your hands. When you are laying in bed, take the time to listen to your breath. Just feel the blankets wrapped around your body and ask yourself, what is happening in my body when those difficult situations arise? What is my body telling me when I'm around people who make me uncomfortable? Again, do not rely on your thoughts to understand your emotions. Rely on what your body is telling you. Trauma often lives in the body. So if you have anxiety, your mind is telling you, I am anxious, I am scared. But what is happening in your body whenever you're anxious? There's a lump in your throat. Your stomach is churning. You have a dry mouth, you start to sweat. There's a shortness of breath. You're feeling weak or tense. That is your body conveying those emotions. That is your body saying, I am anxious. Or when you feel joy, your mind is telling you that you're happy, but your body has this feeling of lightness, and there's this kind of like these butterflies in your stomach. Feel your emotions in your body. And if you notice there is a difference or a conflict in your emotions that you feel in your body versus in your mind, the thought is always the lie. The emotions you feel in your body is the truth. Next is the power of silence. Learn to sit in silence more than you do your thoughts. Your mind is going to create more noise for you, but silence will lead you to a deeper inner knowing. It allows us to channel our energies and get more clarity into what challenges we are facing. Meditation is great for this, so go into a quiet environment where there are not a lot of distractions, and just for a few minutes, just notice the sounds around you. The cars outside, the sound of your house shaking, the birds outside, and just sit there. Smell the air, be aware of the carpet beneath you, become aware of your body and any tension that you might be feeling. Pay attention to your breath. It's going to be difficult the first couple of times because as humans, we are not used to silence these days because we have a lot of distractions, but you will not fail at this because you are just observing yourself in real time. I saw a quote that said, in order to understand the power of silence, you need to be silent. Once you are silent, you will understand the power of peace. Once you are at peace, you will understand the depth of the cosmic energy. And cosmic energy is the life force that exists everywhere. It is a spiritual energy that is the source of life, healing, and enlightenment, which increases your happiness, health, and abundance. Next is stop second guessing yourself. If you spend a lot of time trying to figure out if you made the right decision or did the task correctly, then you are second guessing yourself. For me, I still often second guess myself, but I had to decide whether or not I am willing to take the risk. When you are second guessing yourself, this is a part of risk avoidance. Normally, your first thought that you have is the right one. There were so many times in school where I was taking an exam and I knew the answer and I studied for it, but for some reason I ended up choosing my second best answer, and 9 times out of 10 I got it wrong, and the answer I was originally going to choose was correct. So if you often second guess yourself, if it takes you more than 5 seconds to decide on something, go with your gut. But don't change your answer unless you are so positive that your second answer is correct that you are willing to pay $100 for it. Your intuition is almost always right because it's a feeling-based form of communication between your soul and your human body. Intuition is how you connect with yourself. Next is voice your thoughts. If someone says something to me and it rubs me the wrong way, I will say something in that moment. So if someone says something that rubs you the wrong way, speak up. Ask them, hey, what did you mean by that? Or hey, I don't like it when you say those things to me. That way you nip it in the bud instead of just going home and overthinking about where you stand in that person's life. And that's how resentment would be created. And if that person gets defensive with you, then that means that they really did have bad intentions for you and you didn't need them in your life anyways. So don't even bother going back and forth with them. You said enough by just saying, hey, I don't like that. You might not be at the point in your life right now to voice your thoughts, but that's okay. This is where journaling is important. Putting it on paper. Write down how you would have responded in that situation or what you wish you would have said. So that way, when a similar situation arises, you know what to do. Now, if you still have these feelings that people don't like you or you get really anxious in public situations because you feel like you'll be judged, then I suggest you go watch my video on people like you more than you think. And I have the studies to prove it. Thank you, Diamond Girls, for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I hope you all have a beautiful day that's filled with love.